How are you feeling tonight?
Well, obviously got one of 5 more months of me exposing all the failures of our mayor, so it's going to be a fun ride.
So since the history of that facility being open, not one single health violation has been written. In fact, just recently, the state of New Jersey's health inspectors went in. They didn't find one single violation. But if you compare it to what the state prison system is, state prison system, they have 3 prisons that are in deplorable conditions.
The murder of Henry Novak is devastating for his family. He was an innocent young man on the way home when he was brutally killed. Henry's family have suffered an unimaginable loss.
Well, you'd think that one day we could actually see election results in battle-worn Democrat strongholds in one day without seeing the rigging before your very eyes. But nope, they continue to operate illegally to stay in power, not realizing it's all being recorded. And the people are going to wake up to their shenanigans, realizing there's no way. The boards seem to tell us to be ready for the deep state pain and arrests. So much to cover. We're going to get into it. Thank you for following us on Rumble, our go-to for free speech, 511,000 followers. And also hitting that like button. Our last video got up to the top 3 on the leaderboard for Rumble. Thank you for that and your support there. Right next to Dan Bongino Show, and some guy named Crowder. Also, we just want to show you that we've got great T-shirts and hats available for celebrating 250 years. And our women's 3/4 sleeve V-necks are finally here. And of course, our all-new bedazzled crew neck and tee are on board at shop.mweknow.com. And I'm going to show you more pictures of Patriots wearing their gear later on in the video.
I just want to remind everybody, our foreign policy is one that's solely focused on the national interest of the United States of America, on the defense of our country, both its military defense and our security, but also our economic security and the vibrancy of our economy, our sovereignty, and our future. We believe that America should lead the world, and I believe that we are, and we'll have a very good story to tell about that. American leadership, however, should always be on behalf of the American interests. I say this because I think over a period of time in our foreign policy, we lost focus on that. The reality of it is that our foreign policy, first and foremost, must always be what is in the national interest of the United States of America. And determining the national interest oftentimes requires us to make pragmatic decisions. Sometimes in foreign policy, the choices are not between a good choice and a bad choice. It's between 2 less than ideal choices, and you're trying to figure out which one of these 2 choices is the one that is best for the United States and least harmful to our interests. And that plays out every single day. That said, we remain the world's sole global superpower, the most powerful country on earth. We have the largest economy. We have the most formidable and powerful military ever known to man, by the way. Our dollar remains the reserve currency of the world. Our language is used extensively throughout the world to transact all sorts of business and many of our engagements. But all of this means very little if that power is not used to protect the people who built it, the people who it is meant to protect. I also remind everybody the United States government is not a charity. We are not here to play social worker. We are here to win. We are here to win on behalf of the American people and on behalf of the national interest, to win for our country, to win for the people of America, to win for the things that are important for our future. And that's what we exist to do. The State Department exists to carry out the foreign policy of the United States, both in diplomacy and in aid, in a way that furthers the national interest and helps the American people. And it's guided every decision that's been made since January of 2025.
Love it. We have the formidable and powerful military ever known to man, the most imaginable. And it's great to have Marco Rubio answering questions once again and putting these guys in their place, the Democrats especially, who try to attack him. The White House said the Democrats are at it again using some amazing fonts It looks like kind of a Marvel comic look. Remember the last time that voters elected a Republican mayor? New York, 1994, Seattle, 1964, Minneapolis, 1957, Portland, 1952, Chicago, 1927, and Washington, D.C., never. But liberals want to blame President Trump for crime in these cities. That's all they do, and they continue to cheat. And they remind you how they cheat. Here's something put out by NBC News.
Remember, the final piece of the puzzle
Talking about the mayor race for Los Angeles.
that we won't know tonight, right, is the late arriving vote by mail.
Oh, yeah, because, Karen Bass has got 38%. And Spencer Pratt's at 27% as of this recording. So it'll change an awful lot by the time we get to later today, and who knows, the next week or 2 or 3 is much time as they need to make sure that maybe the victory can be secured, because they got to get Karen Bass past that 50% mark. And of course, they need Nitya Raman to kind of equal things out so that she continues to win.
And we're talking about probably like a third of the vote in Los Angeles. We're probably not going to be getting until tomorrow and maybe days to come after tomorrow. The mail can still come in after Election Day. And there's indications, and there's certainly a ton.
The mail can still come in after Election Day. It's almost like he's telling you, hey, guys, if you really want Karen Bass past this 50% mark so we don't have to listen to Spencer Pratt for the next 5 months, you can still mail that stuff in. We don't care. We'll take as many as we can get until we finally get a victory. Keep cheating, folks.
Of precedent here that late arriving vote by mail is going to be significantly more Democratic friendly than all of the other vote, meaning that would be good news for Bass.
Right.
That would be good news for Raman. If she's going to come out of tonight behind Pratt, it's a huge if, but if she's going to come out of tonight behind Pratt, well, it's not a huge if at this point. She would then have the opportunity, if she's close enough, to catch him with that. But that is a 25,000 vote pad there. 8 percentage points that Pratt has managed to build.
Do you think it matters? Do you think all this stuff that plays out right before your very eyes is going to happen the way they want? They're going to probably either put Raman above Pratt and put Raman against Bass, or Bass is just going to get about 50%. I don't know. They're always after something. They're always playing it out the way they want. And just a reminder, do you guys remember California back March 5, 2024, the presidential primary election? We had Steve Garvey leading leaker Adam Schiff with 1.8 million votes. Then just like that, his lead was cut in half. This is from Real Robert. Just a reminder, it's called a glitch, a phenomenon that mysteriously favors Democrats by default all the time. It's always the Democrats. Look at your screen. There's old Steve Garvey. Let's see, where is he at? He's sitting at top at 1,175,341. And just like this, right, we'll show you on the screen how it plays out. It just tends to switch from 1.175, and then all of a sudden Steve Garvey loses a whole slew of votes if you watch it drop. The 1.7 million dropped to 970,000. And somehow old Adam Shifty Schiff went from, let's see, where was he at? He was down here at 900 and, let's see, old Shifty Schiff was at 1.1 million, and all of a sudden he gains, what, another 50,000 votes to put him up above. And they just deleted Steve Garvey's. Just a reminder in case you guys forgot how it all works. And the election's been called. It's just been called for Los Angeles Karen Bass. She is advancing to the general elections at Wall Street Apes without a single ounce of support or any positive comments on any social media platforms. She takes the win. California elections are obviously rigged. It's insulting, and that puts her at 36% when you're looking at your screen, 29% for Spencer Pratt. We'll see how that works out. And then, of course, Gavin Newsom authorized an emergency law shortly before the primary allowing mail-in ballot signatures not matching the voter's registration record to get counted while going unchallenged. What is your message to him about that? Hey, guys, allow the cheating to happen. Okay, we're going to take this no matter what. We don't care that we're telling the public that we cheat. Who cares? And then you'll notice another thing on the voter fraud side. The machines are at it again. 39.3% vote in. Karen Bass had 117,579. Spencer Pratt had 86,323. 42.4% vote in. That means up another 3%. 3.1% votes in. Check this out. Spencer Pratt didn't get any of them. And Karen Bass went from 117,579 to 130,420. In other words, she got every single vote counted, with Spencer Pratt getting none. More election rigging, and they don't even rig well. You'd think if they cheated, they'd cheat in a way where they're not discovered, but they just don't care anymore. Spencer Pratt's claiming victory for advancing to the Los Angeles mayor general election, which will happen in November.
How are you feeling tonight?
Well, obviously God wanted 5 more months of me exposing all the failures of our mayor. So it's going to be a fun ride. I hope she's ready.
Are you ready?
I mean, I was born for this, clearly.
Outside the watch party, we just heard from mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt.
Well, now I have 5 months to get deep into every community that hasn't heard my message to make them safe. So I'm actually very excited because I felt very rushed. It's a big city, and I was not able to talk to as many people as I look forward to talking to. This is the first time since 2005 an incumbent is going to a runoff. This is not a candidate that I'm too concerned about.
Right now the votes are still being counted, but it appears he'll be in a runoff against Mayor Karen Bass in November.
I'm going to continue to work hard, learn everything I need to learn, build my teams, show all the experience I'm going to surround myself with, because that's a concern people have. Oh, he has no truth. I'm going to build that experience around, and we have 5 months to put the best team the city could ever dream of.
Are you going to debate Karen Bass again? And what do you want to tell her if she sees this tonight?
You know, I love debating her on NBC. I look forward to a couple more on NBC and Fox. We can do debates every Friday if she would like, because it's actually became my most favorite thing to do.
Yeah, he's laughing because he's like, man, it's been fun to just watch her go into panic mode as he questions her and shows all the facts about who she really is. Huge win. Supposedly, well, we'll see, folks. You know, things can happen. They can start finding ballots all of a sudden to make Karen Bass go above 50%, and they could do things to make the other candidate get all kinds of percentages. You just never know, right? Just don't, I understand their game. You know, Gina Milan put this out. California will make sure every illegal gets health insurance, plastic surgery, SNAP benefits, shelter, licenses, and free tuition overnight. But counting votes on election night, they need 12 years, 112 days, 2 Christmases, and 1 Easter to tell you who won. Doreen Linder said, evil takes time. Boy, she's not kidding. Here's something that came out from old Spencer Pratt talking about what he would do once he got in.
Everything I ever spent money on, they act like I didn't have it. So yes, I spent all this money. I was also 22, 23 years old, was planning on being Kim Kardashian, rich and famous. So I wasn't hoarding my money like this was my one run at the game. You know, if I didn't get unplugged, which that's the game, like the Kardashians, Comcast stayed with them. Viacom said, oh, this crew's too expensive. So I wasn't wrong and I wasn't right. But that idea, again, that's my money. It wasn't tax money. So if we're going to say he spent 10 million of his own money when he's 23, this lady, Karen Bass, just spent $400 million last year of our money to house allegedly 1,400 people. If we're going to do the who spends more reckless money, and mine wasn't reckless. I had great dinners. I treated a lot of friends. Like I was supporting people. I was funding, rappers, MMA fighter. I had so many people I was taking care of with that money that you go ask them right now, buying my friends suits so they could go try to be real estate. Like I was a very good person to be friends with, like with that money. I'll run it back right now. If this is what's going to stop me from being mayor, like those decisions, I would have done all those decisions again. And if I don't get elected, I'm going to go back to selling healing crystals and be with my family. And
hummingbirds,
yeah,
baby.
hummingbirds will be back. I'll just be eating my tacos at Don Antonio. So I only have the pressure of doing my hardest effort so I can look and be like, it was not God's plan.
Oh, Spencer Pratt, he gets better and better every day. Love seeing it. We're going to have a lot more exposure in California in a moment and see what happened in New Jersey with their elections and who was brought in one of the areas there. Boy, it's sickening. And, of course, the questioning that's going to play out against Wayne Mullen and others. You guys don't want to miss it.
This right here is another example of fraud, waste, and abuse here inside the homeless industrial complex here inside of California. This hotel used to be a Ramada, In 2020, the state of California bought it for $8 million. It is now 2026, and this hotel is not even nearly close to being finished. And to finish it, it's going to cost $20 million, and it's going to be used to house 32 homeless individuals here inside the state of California. So per person, that is going to cost upwards of $625,000 per person, and there is nothing to show for this hotel right now. That just goes to show how bad the system is, where in its own state, in its own city, it takes up to 6 years after they purchase it to even make any sort of progress. I mean, this is all the progress you're seeing here inside the state of California. It's a little crazy. And so you would think after 6 years, the state of California would have more to show for $8 million and now $20 million to be invested into this building. 6 years later, this place has had hardly any work done to it, and it's still years out from being completed. That is just another example of fraud, waste, and abuse here inside the state of California.
Yep, prime example of fraud. California bought the hotel, $8 million in 2020, now wants $20 million to fix it. $625,000 per homeless person. 6 years goes by, nothing to show. Let's go across the states for a moment and notice that Amy Meck posted this. National security threat in New Jersey. We are being conquered. Jihadi Adam Hamawai just seized the Democratic primary in New Jersey 12, and terrorists plus their defenders are celebrating. Listen to this.
When we organize, we win. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar.
Yep. There you go. We're watching our country fall in real time, says Amy Meck. The radicals showed up in force to cheer his victory. Linda Sarsour, the activist who praises convicted terrorists, tells Muslims not to assimilate, and unleashes incendiary hate on non-Muslims. Imam Mohammed Kotani, convicted in Israel in 1993 for Hamas membership. His mosque founder was a founding board member of the Holy Land Foundation, convicted of funneling millions to Hamas. Yet the mosque president, Fahmy, president of ICPC, who is at the victory party, still calls this man an imam, a man of peace, just like their prophet Muhammad, even after he preached anti-Christian sermons, called for a new intifada, and described life in Hamas-ruled Gaza as beautiful and normal. And the man they're celebrating 31 years ago that Adam Hamawai took the stand in the largest terrorism trial in American history and lied under oath to protect the blind sheikh, Omar Abdel Rahman, the mastermind whose followers bombed the World Trade Center in 1983. Hamawai didn't just know the Sikh. He attended a jihadi conference with him in Detroit in 1991. He heard the calls for holy war, jihad, as the pinnacle of Islam, conquering the land of the infidels, and Sheikh branding Egypt's president America's loyal dog and calling for his murder under oath. Hamawai swore it was just an innocent Islamic economy conference. He denied facts, claimed convenient memory lapses, and admitted the truth when prosecutors slammed the transcript in his face. It's the man who now wants classified intelligence briefings and a vote on America's counterterrorism funding. Radicals are embedding themselves in Congress while the GOP has not figured out a single way to stop this takeover. We're going to lose this country, says Amy Meck. Imagine what they'll do when they control the presidency and Congress. Well, they did when they had Obama in, obviously, the Muslim, who brought in most of these Muslims and their doctrine and more in their mosques and so much more over the years. But he's not the only one. Democrat politicians, of course, love it.
So since the history of that facility being open, not one single health violation has been written. In fact, just recently, the state of New Jersey's health inspectors went in. They didn't find one single violation.
So speaking of New Jersey, there's Honorable Mark Wayne Mullen having again to share with everyone what's going on with all those riots in New Jersey, the ICE facilities. And he's explaining, like, our ICE facilities are fine. Look at what the state has and how they don't keep their place clean.
But if you compare it to what the state prison system is, state prison system, they have 3 prisons that are in deplorable conditions. Quote, that's what the health inspector said. Delayed health care is average of 32% delayed within 48 hours. We have more health. We have 2 times. No, yes.
Are you doing an investigation on these allegations?
Ranking member, this is why I had this information, is because I went through and looked at it and looked at what we have. 0 health inspections.
Not everyone is a health inspection allegation.
You made some pretty damning claims saying that it's deplorable conditions.
Or not?
I said we looked into it. Health inspectors were just there.
Time has expired.
And we had 0 violations. 0 violations.
0 violations. He has to continue to remind these guys how this all works. Now, let's listen to Senator Kennedy's question and answer here from William Mullin.
What happened at Delaney Hall?
Well, a lot of claims were made, and they just absolutely weren't true. The first one came out and said it was overcrowded. We have today, I believe, under 700 detainees there. It's licensed for just over 1,000 beds. We have twice the square footage at Delaney Hall than the state penitentiary does in New Jersey. They said that the medical condition was horrible. We have twice as much medical staff per person than the state penitentiary does in New Jersey.
What happened with the protesters?
Well, the protesters is interesting. The governor and the state officials were going out and saying that they were peaceful protesters and ICE was agitating them. That all changed when the governor finally allowed the state police to do their job. And by the way, they're professionals, and the locals there were absolutely professionals. When they came in, they quickly realized these aren't peaceful protesters. These are rioters.
They're rioters. And so you got the latest leftist influencer, Jolly Good Ginger, gets in the face of an independent journalist and harasses him. Why are they so unhinged? Major props to Serge Philly for standing his ground. Let's see if we can play some of this without too much of the cursing. Here we go.
Talk about why you're out here.
See, and yep, he's going to be cussing like crazy. He screams, "You're not intimidating me. Get out of my personal space. You came up. I'm not going anywhere. Get out of my blanking face. This is public property, sir. I'm not going anywhere." And then he continues to yell. Yep, they become unhinged over and over and over again. Let me get that put in for the editor right here. So let's continue on about the agents and what they're called.
When you throw out reckless terms and you start referring to our agents as being dangerous, unconstitutional, and lawless, that's why our agents' death threats are up by 8,000%. I know that's not what you want, but your political theater, that's what it causes.
That's what it causes. A little political theater. And I'm glad they're calling them out. That's great. Fake news reports that the Islamic Republic of Iran and the USA stopped speaking a few days ago are false and erroneous, says President Trump. The conversations between us have been going on continuously, including 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and 1 day ago, and today. Where they lead, one never knows, but as I told Iran, it's time, one way or another, for you to make a deal. You've been doing this for 47 years, and it cannot be allowed to go on any longer. President Trump also posted a picture of him with Trump 007, looking pretty sharp there. Also, Il Donato Trumpo posted, "We do a little trolling," as they have the picture of Tallarico as a comedy person with President Trump holding that, and others looking like trolling. Dean was all over this post. And he says President Trump's doubling up on a con by using his Truth Social account, his burner account. And Truth, President Trump posted a meme of himself as Trump 007. And that was posted at 11:44, 23:44 military time. And then he used his burner account, Il Donato Trumpo, to post another meme of himself in the Oval Office tagged as "We Do a Little Trolling," with the same timestamp of 11:44. So he's doubling up by not only using memes, he's also doubling up by using the exact same timestamp of 23:44 military time, which is memes ready? Question mark. Are you ready to see arrests? Are you ready to see pain? Are you ready to be part of history. So President Trump is letting us know to get our memes ready because the arrest and pain we've all been waiting for is coming. We are all going to be a part of history. Anons, it's about time we do a little trolling. He also put this one out, President Trump, the greatest attraction, and there he is speaking at a Trump rally, it appears like. And again, posted at 11:44, and we just saw that, military time 23:44. Julie Donuts said, let's remind everyone, the Q board, are you ready to see arrest? Ready to see pain? Ready to be part of history? It's like repetitive ways to let us know how he communicates with us and what is playing out for all to behold. Now, I'm going to get into Marco Rubio, how they tried to grill him, and his answers were phenomenal. What he presented was so good, and you guys will be really proud of him and how that has been working and how he's been working behind the scenes to help all of us. First, I wanted to get some just motivation with some coffee from Mike.
Well, hi. Welcome to another beautiful property by Country Time Real Estate Company. Come on in. Oh, I'm just so excited to find a home in the country with all you country folk, with all your peace and tranquility. Well, great. Let's start with the deck. That's the best view ever. What is that smell? Oh, that's just the hogs. The neighbor's spreading manure. It'll go away in like 2 or 3 days. You won't even notice it. Would he be my neighbor?
Well, there's all kinds of practical uses for that leftover coffee creamer.
Oh, yeah. What's he doing? Is that coffee creamer?
First, you want to fill the barrel of your cannon all the way to the top with that coffee creamer.
You know, why don't we go back inside? I really want to show you the finished basement. Is he some sort of a scientist or something?
Then, light a road flare. Then give it the send-off we think it deserves.
No, we should go inside.
Blows it up.
Oh my goodness. Is that even legal? You people are crazy. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to call that other realtor that said he had a condo in town.
And there's that explosion again. Hunter's Blend Coffee. Folks, you can go in the description box below and you can get Hunter's Blend Coffee started with a simple belief. What you drink should reflect what you stand for. They buy only from the top 6% of specialty coffee beans, roast with precision in small batches, ship locally roasted coffee fresh to your door, and they support organizations and causes that are near and dear to the hearts of many freedom-loving Americans, such as pro-life, youth shooting, sports, veterans, hunting and conservation, patriot, and anti-sex trafficking. Faith, family, freedom, it's not just a tagline. It's how they do business. Click in the description box below. Hunter's Blend Coffee. Enjoy it today.
We can't have a world in which only Iranian ships get through the straits. And so if they're going to shut down the straits for everybody, we're going to shut down the straits for them. And we have done that through a very effective blockade and, by the way, through the seizure of sanctioned ships in the Indo-Pacific as well. The cost to Iran every single day in lost revenue is in the hundreds of millions of dollars that they are losing in lost revenue that they're not generating as a result of that. Now, we are in talks, and I say talks because talks with Iran are not like talks with Switzerland, okay? They're very different. They require the use of intermediaries, unfortunately. But there is the prospect before us, which could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen next week, that for the first time, certainly in my memory, they have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago, just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention, much less enter into discussions about. That is not a guarantee that ultimately it will lead to a deal that's acceptable to the Senate or acceptable to the American people. But we'll be able to engage them in a process to truly test the proposition of how far they're willing to go. Complicating that process, unfortunately, is their internal regime is somewhat fractured in the sense of it takes days to get responses from their system. We can go into more depth in your follow-up questions. But we're hopeful that something like that could happen in which the straits would reopen, we would enter into a period of negotiations on very specific topics, delineated negotiations in the hope of reaching an outcome that's acceptable to us and something they would be able to do as well. If it doesn't work out, then obviously we still have a problem with respect to their nuclear ambitions. But what they won't have is the conventional shield to hide behind any longer.
Pretty amazing. Il Donato Trumpo put this one out with that music in the background. Of course, Marco Rubio taking the helm, running it well like he does.
A country that cannot build ships or produce medicine or control immigration or access vital resources cannot defend its people, cannot defend its interests, and cannot defend its way of life. So our foreign policy continues to be reoriented around the real foundations of national strength.
National strength. He continues to stay on point. And then listen to Marco Rubio as he obliterates the Dem Senator Rosen's wild accusation during heated Senate hearing on Iran talks. You don't want to miss this.
You were at a party with President Trump in Miami instead of accompanying Vice President Vance to Pakistan for negotiations.
What party was I at? I was at a party?
It's publicly reported, and there's photos there.
But what party? No, but you're going to say that. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer that question because that's an absurd statement. I was not at a party.
Finish my paragraph, he can answer.
People are going to slander me. I'm going to answer
Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, both of whom were never confirmed by this body to be America's diplomats, accompanied the vice president in the negotiations. Even Iran's foreign minister was not there, yet was there, and you were not. I just feel that's embarrassing for us, and it's embarrassing for you. So, Mr. Secretary, Congress represents the American people. We have the power to confirm who represents America abroad. We confirmed you to be our Secretary of State. We confirmed you to be in the negotiations that are happening. And it's just unthinkable to me that you are missing high-stakes negotiations or that you're not involved. It's sad.
Senator Rosen, your time's up.
So let me
Secretary Rubio.
You're 100% inaccurate.
What does she sound like when she talks? When she talks to him? She talks to him like he's a little child. You see how these, a lot of these leftist freaks, how they treat people? I'm above you, my little child, and what I need you to do is take out your candy and put it away for now. And then we need you to sharpen your number 2 pencil, please. And when you get home, just let your mom know that you were talking in class and you weren't behaving and you were being a bad little boy, okay? That's how he treated him. She treated him. And so he's going to respond the way you're supposed to when treated like this.
You're 100% wrong. Here's why. Number one, the Vice President of the United States was there, and he wasn't confirmed by the Senate. He was elected by the American people. Okay? He is the second in line of the presidency of the United States. He was present. Mr. Witkoff is the president's envoy for negotiation for peace deals.
Boom.
Mr. Kushner is a private citizen that serves as an advisor on these functions. They were the team that we sent to Pakistan. I was not at a party. Where I was is next to the president. Because in the midst of those negotiations, I was in communications with them. And in fact, I think there is media reporting from that evening on how on multiple occasions I went into a back room, I came back out and spoke to the president and was constantly updating him. On that evening, I spoke to Mr. Kushner and our negotiating team and Mr. Witkoff on at least 6 occasions, including twice on a secure line from the phone they had access to over there. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're just
Senator
making
Rosen,
stuff up.
he has the floor.
I know your staff wrote up this cute statement for your TikTok video, but it's not true and it's not real. That's not what happened. Okay? I'm the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State. I was co-located with the president in the midst of a high-stakes negotiation so that I could immediately inform him about events occurring halfway around the world. I was where I needed to be at that moment because we had a very capable team on the ground in Pakistan led by the Vice President of the United States.
Thank you.
You got that done. Good stuff, American Red Voice. Thank you for giving us that clip. That was brilliant. President Trump put this illustration out at the White House of UFC and what it's going to look like with these guys fighting in front of that audience. Wow. It's phenomenal. And if you're looking, he posted also, history is made by revolutionary ideas. It is an amazing idea. And it's posted at 10:46. So 10:46, Dan Scavino Jr. posted this. And so at 10:46 p.m., 10:46 on the cue board, enjoy the show. Epicenter, full house. They're all here, 24/7, 365. Look at that, full house. It's going to be packed. Epicenter, DC. Enjoy the show. We're going to take out the deep state. Also, just kind of a side note, Grasshopper catches things like this. There was a headline out of Express. Dubai flights latest as 17 airlines suspend services. And they give a full list of all 17. Amazing number, huh? Well, Asian Airlines, Air Astana, Air Baltic, I mean, just name them. KLM, Korean Air, Lufthansa, some other ones that we might be familiar with, Singapore Airlines. Well, it's 17 airlines, right? Do people believe all recent resignations, flight reroutes, blackouts, EMS, and emergency broadcasting system activations are simply a coincidence? Think magic. What you see is the distraction. Do you really believe nothing is being done? Hitting 2 6-year deltas with these posts. So Q4 389, June 2nd, 2020. Boom, 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 boom. A week to remember. Dark to light blackout necessary. Also, Q4 388. Think about it logically. The only way is the military. Fully controlled, save, and spread. 11.3 verifies as first marker. It's amazing how they continue to find things like this for all to see. Another one, if you guys remember, we were talking about what happened with Henry when he was basically, Nowak was stabbed. Remember, he said, I've been stabbed. And they said, oh, we don't really think so. The other guy said, no, he's a racist. And they said, oh, he is. Okay, we'll arrest him, even though he's dying. We'll believe you, but we're not going to believe the guy that says he's been stabbed. So how many folks heard the story coverage of this on New York Times or any other place? Well, New York Times stories on George Floyd, they made 6,397 results if you look up New York Times and look up the word George Floyd. 6,397 references. References to Henry Nowak, if you look that up at the New York Times, 0. Elon Musk said not even one story. For George Floyd, a U.S. citizen, Keir Starmer got on a knee. But for Henry Nowak, a UK citizen, he's nowhere to be found. Doesn't care. You think the people are waking up and the word's getting out about what's going on? There you go on your screen. Massive crowd demanding justice for Henry Nowak outside Southampton police station. These folks saw it all. They understand how one of their own was treated. And man, it was quite a scene. Save our kids. And then, of course, if you head on over to gbnnews.com, they put out very interesting information about all of this. Do you know that the official police policy requires them to be racist against whites? Do you guys know that? It is deeply wrong and must change now.
Thank the Home Secretary and thank you, Mr. Speaker, for ensuring the government came to the House today. The murder of Henry Nowak is devastating for his family. He was an innocent young man on the way home when he was brutally killed. Henry's family have suffered an unimaginable loss, and I know the thoughts of the whole House will be with them all. The evil murderer, Vikram Digwa, lied from start to finish, including a false allegation of racism. But on arriving at the scene, the police appeared more concerned with the accusation of racism, and even the possibility that Digwa himself was injured, than they were in helping Henry. Henry told the police he could not breathe 9 times. He told them he had been stabbed 4 times. The response from the officer, we've all heard, was to say, I don't think you have, mate. Henry was handcuffed and dragged across the ground as he lay dying. Can you imagine what he must have felt as he cried out for help and was ignored, as the officers who should have worked to save him instead handcuffed him and inquired after the welfare of his killer, standing just inches away. Henry's dad, Mark, said this: Henry did not die with dignity. He did not die with the care he deserved. He lost consciousness before anyone believed him. So we need the IOPC to urgently and transparently report into how it was the police attending were more concerned with the accusation of racism than they were in helping a dying man. Mr. Speaker, we cannot tolerate a situation where false allegations of racism by criminals are believed. We cannot allow the colour of someone's skin to be a consideration in how the police or other public services treat people. And yet this has happened. Just recently, we learned that Valdo Calicone, who murdered 3 people in Nottingham, was not sectioned by mental health professionals because they thought there was, and I quote, an over-representation of young black males in mental health detention. The consequent failure to section Valdo Calicone, in part because he was black, led directly to the murder of 3 innocent people.
Yep.
The head teacher of Axel Radicubana was accused of racist stereotyping when she described Radicubana as a threat to safety, and the risk assessment was watered down. Radicubana, of course, went on to stab and murder 3 young girls at a Southport dance class.
He goes on and on about all the things that have happened in that area. Hurting for you. Hurting for you guys there, and hope and pray somehow can all be reversed in due time. Now we're going to get into an amazing appointment. Director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency by President Trump. Chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, William J. Pulte. Boy, we got a lot to get into. I'm going to share some big ones in a moment, but I wanted just to remind everybody, we thank you for sending in the pictures at amweknow.com, where you can actually click on contact and send in photos of, yourself wearing the gear or somebody in your family. And just remind you, we've got some new gear, our new Bedazzled Crew neck and tee. They're in. We've got great new colors for the ladies wear. Wonderful Celebrate 250 Years gear, hats and T-shirts, and women's 3/4 sleeve V-necks. And when you wear this, you never know. Somebody might walk up to you and say, hey, I happen to watch that show too, and you've got a new friend to hang out with. Here's more at 9:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2nd of June. He's appointing the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. We just stated William J. Pulte, serve as acting director of national intelligence. William has deep experience managing the most sensitive matters in America, the safety and soundness of the markets, and over $10 trillion at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, a substantial increase from where it was just 12 months ago. During this period, he will remain director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency and chairman of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Congratulations to Director Pulte. Well, August 17th said, when I say trust the plan, see, Pulte was reposting our good friend, Real Fletch 17. You guys see that? There's Pulte, if you're looking at your screen. It says Pulte reposted. What did he repost? He posted Fletch 17, basically showing that President Trump is literally saving America. God bless real Donald Trump, showing the mortgage rates drop below 6% for the first time in 4 years. Pulte sharing a Fletch 17 post. So to put it in simple words, acting director of national intelligence was reposting a post from an anon following somebody who posts from the keyboard. We are good. We're good. Also, Ripcord saw this with that post at 9:06 a.m. 9:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9:06 a.m. was also a post for 2732 on February 15th. Dark to light, the orders come from the highest office in the land. Wow. What orders? Putting Pulte in. Observing Consciousness puts these amazing graphics together. If you guys go check them out on X, you'll find out, these graphics if you want to share them or print them out and put them up in your wall. I mean, those are beautiful. 5GW reclamation from deep state control to public sovereignty. The Doge entry, the FHFA dominance, Palantir AI fusion, fraud annihilation, home ownership restoration, and more. He says Trump appointing Bill Pulte as acting director of national intelligence signals a much deeper convergence already forming beneath the surface for years. Pulte did not emerge from traditional intelligence circles. He emerged from the center of the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac ecosystem. That's right. where mortgages, deeds, LLC structures, lending histories, banking relationships, property transfers, and identity verification all converge into one of the largest relational maps in America. This is why Trump's push around Fannie Mae and Freddie was never just housing reform, it was institutional reclamation. For decades, those agencies operated as financial command nodes sitting inside federal conservatorships while Wall Street, bureaucratic layers, and entrenched influence networks quietly controlled the rails beneath the American dream. Then DOGE enters as the Trojan horse insertion layer. Audits, personnel resets, board restructuring, forensic visibility, systems mapping. Pulte consolidates FHFA control, boards are overhauled, old guard removed, and sovereign-aligned operators embedded directly into the architecture itself. Now add the AI nervous system layer, integrating with Fannie Mae transforms the battlefield completely because modern intelligence is no longer built only around intercepted communications or traditional surveillance. It's built around AI-driven relational mapping across systems of systems. Mortgages connect to banks. Banks connect to NGOs. Non-governmental organizations connect to funding rails. Funding rails connect to shell companies, migration networks, fraud structure, political influence operations, and hidden ownership webs. Investigation timelines collapse from months into seconds as AI correlates anomalies, money movement, property relationships, and institutional paper trails at massive scale. Suddenly, the Tulsi transition phase makes more sense. She functioned during the narrative exposure and restructuring layer, while the deeper operational center of gravity quietly shifted toward forensic financial intelligence, sovereign data visibility, and AI-enhanced systemic tracing. The battlefield moved from headlines to infrastructure, and the people who understand the map became more strategically valuable than the people reading the script. Boom. Oh, man. That is so cool. You know, also, both chambers overwhelmingly passed Governor Ron DeSantis's Florida historic proposal to eliminate property taxes for primary residences. It's now headed to voters in November. Starts with $250,000 exemption covering most homeowners immediately with a path to full elimination. Florida is making history and giving real life to families. Hopefully this is done nationwide. I wanted to show you this also about CNBC being shocked.
Up. This is unreal. The movement in this number. Minus 29.4 billion. We cut it basically in half. We cut it in half.
Cut the trade deficit in half.
Just consider this. In March, it was 136 billion. Right now, it's a whisker under 30 billion. We haven't been that small in a long time. I don't have enough records here to go back that far, but you're going back a ways. And here's the news on why it moved lower.
Wow. CNBC going crazy. Shocked that Trump cuts U.S. trade deficit in half.
Look, we know that these rats will turn on each other. We heard today that one of the people who has been convicted of fraud, she was given $200,000 to bribe a juror, and she was so corrupt she skimmed $80,000 of it and only tried to give a $120,000 bribe. So we are going to offer whistleblower payments to anyone who wants to tell us the who, what, when, where, and how this fraud has been done. And I think that will give us a great leap forward on how to get it done.
Yep, start blowing those whistles. Trump is moving to debank illegals. He announces executive order directing Secretary Scott Bessent to shut down bank accounts used to facilitate illegal immigration or to give illegal aliens welfare. Just a reminder of all that's been playing out. On the money side, also, the precious metals world. Remember, we just dropped a video last Saturday how layoffs, businesses, closing affects precious metals, Trump and the Fed, and zombie home foreclosures. You'll find all of that at amweknow.com/gold. And we had an amazing interview with Dr. Kirk Elliott. Hope you guys check that out and learn more about getting your IRAs from fiat currency to precious metals. So something that we hold dear is family pride, right? Of having our own family together. I noticed that Laura Logan said Happy Pride Month, showing a picture of straight pride. It's natural, it's worked for thousands of years, and you can make babies. That's man and woman together. But what are they doing? They're trying to ensure that everybody will accept immoral behavior behind closed doors of what they're doing, which is heinous, it's evil, and it's sickening. And these folks need mental help. But what are they doing out there in La La Land with all the advertising and more on social media? Well, there's a collage by the libs of TikTok of school systems now promoting Genital Mutilation and Mental Illness Month. And this is just a handful. The entire education system is infected with this LGBTQ propaganda. They want to trans your children. Woke is not dead. You still have a lot of work to do. I'm just going to zoom in on some of these. I brought this in earlier. Wanted to just look at some of these, see if you recognize any of the names. I'm going to zoom in. Let's see. The ACES School District. Let's zoom in a little bit more. We got the Northgate School District. Let's see who else. Stormont Elementary School, Talbot County Public Schools, the Kirkwood School District, the Mount Diablo United School District, Unified School District. You got the Denver Public Schools, putting all these rainbow colors up for Pride Month, right? That's what they call it. And the Royal Oak Schools, and you got the School District of Lancaster. Let's see, Lincoln Unified School District, there it is. Pride Month from Peninsula School District. Duluth Public Schools, Baltimore County Public Schools, and let's see, the Greensboro Central School District, and some more. Just want to make sure you saw all of these before we move forward. Also, you got Sesame Street. Happy Pride Month from Sesame Street. Join us in celebrating and uplifting the LGBTQIA plus members of our community, and they're showing pictures of what looks like furry creature type colors for the rainbow flag, right? And Awaken Outlaw, quit grooming children. What part of this is difficult to understand? Don't forget that Royal Dutch Airlines put this out in 2017. It doesn't matter who you click with. Happy Pride Amsterdam, and it's amazing how only one of these seatbelts actually works. Speaking of the month for their Pride Month, one of those that was definitely a part of that was Obama, and still is. Of course, he's with Michael. And he had a statue put out in Chicago, and there it is, the picture next to him would happen to be Ron Howard. So it looks like they took Ron Howard's face and put it on a statue, and they said, this is your Obama. Yeah. Jackie Cheese says, yeah, it does look like that. All right, and it's some positive news on leadership. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, Republican, signed a new proclamation declaring June as Life Month in celebration of every human life from conception through birth instead of the degenerate LGBTQ Pride Month. Also, the U.S. Senate has advanced President Trump's nominee, Jeffrey Coleman, to be district judge for the District of Kansas by 52 to 46 vote. And also, the 3 Trump-endorsed candidates in New Jersey have won their primaries. That would be Tom Keene, Chris Smith, and Jeff Van Drew. And so there are some victories there also. It looks like also somebody's been reporting, I believe it was Michael Casey, that a Trump-endorsed candidate for California Governor Steve Hilton takes the stage at his election night party. He will advance to the runoff in November. It also looks like the Supreme Court greenlights Alabama's new congressional map, flipping one Democrat seat to Republican for the 26 midterms. Senate's drawing their own maps without racial gerrymandering equals common sense restored. And I thought I had something else here. Yeah. Remember I was talking about, real quick, I just happened to miss this one, was the Pulte guy. Well, Pulte, if you guys are looking, has this O, and then it looks like he traced over the O to make it look like a Q. And so DP17 said, this is so good and so delicious watching them lose what little is left of any sanity. This is Autist the 17th, and, she's making fun of everyone. But I tell you what, This is the post by Pulte, acting DNI, was deleted, but Anon's got it on time. They got it. He deleted it, but check it out. Made the graphic, but credit goes to Citizen Sleuth X for at least for the he left this brutality of dastiness in the comments. December 12th, Pulte posted a picture of O turned into a Q. You guys see that? December 12th, Q drop 2597 says, remember Pulte posted on December 12th, a picture of O turned into a Q. There it is. Now, December 12th, on the Q board, December 12th, the same day, for all of us to see in 2017, this is 7 years later, 7 years prior to his post from Pulte with the O turned into a Q. It says, on December 17th, O made into Q. So Pulte, again, follows the Q board. We understand that now. Okay, in a sign of strength and fortitude, it was just announced that the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which violently ended rather abruptly on April 25th, will be rescheduled to July 24th. This announcement is a very good thing in that we cannot allow lunatics to change our way of life or even its scheduling. I was asked to be there and speak by Weijia Zhang, president of the White House Correspondents Association, have accepted. I don't know whether or not I will give the same rather nasty statements, at least as it concerns certain people, but we will soon find out. In any event, it will be a hot ticket. Interestingly, the location will be the Waldorf Astoria on Pennsylvania Avenue, a building and ballroom that I built. President Donald J. Trump. And also remember the locked in post, Trust the Plan, GM. Very interesting because it was posted at 11:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, 11:18 on the Q board just happened to have morning Q. So look at what it says. Department of War CTO posted this and said GM, like good morning. And Trust the Plan. Happy days ahead, Patriot. It's all going to play out the way that you were hoping. One day at a time. Got to have patience. It's very difficult to have. We get it. But man, there are going to be some good days ahead. Let's stay in prayer.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you again, just so overwhelmed by so much information, but overall, we understand how you continue to guide and direct our lives, and we want to thank you. We worship you, and we praise your holy name. And we are so grateful to all of the leaders that you have assigned, the ones that you have put into place to annihilate the deep state, to break everybody's minds of the program that has been put into them for decades. And we just certainly hope that those they're in charge will continue to do a great job, make the right decisions with your guidance and direction. We come before your throne boldly, asking for continued support of our own family, our own providing us wisdom where needed when talking to our family and friends and how we conduct our daily lives. We also ask that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We thank you for the daily provisions you give us, and we definitely need protection from the enemy, and we ask you for that. We bring this all before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Thank you for your support and your prayers. And it's just been an amazing week, month, years going by. And we just totally enjoy receiving information from you, pictures from you, and more. For now, this is LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.
Obviously God wanted 5 more months of me exposing all the failures of our mayor. So it's going to be a fun ride.
So since the history of that facility being open, not one single health violation has been written. In fact, just recently, the state of New Jersey's health inspectors went in. They didn't find one single violation. But if you compare it to what the state prison system is, state prison system, they have 3 prisons that are in deplorable conditions.
The murder of Henry Novak is devastating for his family. He was an innocent young man on the way home when he was brutally killed. Henry's family have suffered an unimaginable loss.